Okay. Okay. Got the record on. Welcome everybody to this very exciting and special session where we're going to draw a NeuroTree, but it's not going to be just a regular NeuroTree that we usually draw. You guys probably see a lots of NeuroTrees around. There are lots on YouTube. I have so many NeuroTrees on my YouTube channel. Today's NeuroTree is going to be quite special. It's going to be very unique, very special, and it's going to be very significant. Very significant to a special day that we're having here today. 1 second. Okay, I'm just reading notes. Because today is a very interesting day. It's a special holiday called Tu BShvat. The letters T and U stand for number 15. The Hebrew letters correspond, each Hebrew letter corresponds to a number. So the number 15 in Hebrew is actually written as, two letters together, the letter for 10, I believe, and the letter for 5. So together, and people know already when you say two means 15, Tu BShvat means the 15th of the month called Shvat. And it's interesting, in Israel, it's a widely celebrated holiday. It's a holiday of the trees. Some people call it the birthday of the trees. Some people call it the New Year of the trees. In Hebrew calendar, actually, we have 4 New Years. Very exciting, right? We have the Rosh Hashanah, the widely known New Year, right? The one that usually comes around September time in the fall. And another New Year we have is actually for Tu BShvat. Then another one, I believe, is the one that starts for Nisan, is a month when we have Passover, and one more is in the summer. So today is not just a birthday for the trees, it's not just a happy new year for the trees. It's very significant because, which is what we're going to discuss today, is that the tree is a reference to the human being, to the human body, to the way the human human mind works. And that's exactly what we're going to reference when we're going to draw, which we're going to start literally in a minute. In Israel, on this day, they plant trees. And I remember one year I got an email and they asked me if you want to pay, you give some money and they plant a tree for you in the land of Israel. So I was very excited I did that. And that's something very significant. Actually, Neurographica, which the founder, Pavel Piskaryov, he actually created the NeuroTree based on this holiday, based on Tu BShvat, based on many metaphoric ideas that have to do with Tu BShvat. And today in the morning, every year on Tu BShvat, he does have a live New Year tree drawing. He did it this morning on Wednesday, because he did it according with the correspondence, to the Russian calendar. He's in Russia currently. And one year, I think the second or the third year after he created NeuroGraphica, he actually planted, they did a whole outing. He went with like some people in Israel and they planted a group of trees and they commemorated it as, something that's associated with NeuroGraphica. So this is very exciting. I am going to switch my camera to my paper, and I'm inviting you to take out your paper, your markers, and we are going to start drawing because we have so much. Everybody who knows me, I'm very keen on giving as much knowledge as possible within that I find it to be short period of time. So without much ado, I will be telling you more about the tree and the 7 fruits, or the 7 species as we call it, for Tu BShvat. We're going to talk about it. We'll discuss it actually as we will start drawing. Okay, question actually before I go in, before I pin my own video. Question: how many of you are familiar with NeuroGraphica? When I say that, I don't just mean seeing the pictures, they're actually familiar with such elements as the neuroline and the rounding technique. Let me know if most of you, I think, are, but let me know, let me ask the opposite, right? Who here doesn't know how to do the rounding trick and the neuroline, just so I can explain it to you guys. I can show it to you quickly. Anybody here who doesn't know how to do that? I'm also live on Facebook, and I don't know where to see my comments for that. Would I see a comment for that? Very interesting. Okay. I don't know how to do that. Let me see. Okay. Okay, I'm going to start then. And let's start with discussing. Can everybody see my camera fully? Not my camera, but my paper fully. I'm inviting you at this point to start drawing. There are two ways to draw the NeuroTree. One way would be to draw like what I'm doing, the vertical drawing, growing up. Another way would be the horizontal drawing where the NeuroTree would be wider, okay? So choose, decide what you guys would like to do. Would you like to grow it tall or would you like to grow it wide, okay? Both are great, both are fine. I'm going to pin my video so everybody can see me. Is this good? Can everybody see my video nice and big? So you guys can follow me. Okay. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So I have my markers. I'm going to use, because I know a lot of times people ask me, what kind of marker do you use? So for this picture, I actually got this. It's a fine, not ultra fine, fine. I got this new marker by Bic. I love it because it's like retractable. And I like, it's nice. And I like big markers, the BIC company. So that's what I use, but you are welcome to use any permanent markers. We are going to start the NeuroTree. The NeuroTree starts from the bottom, okay? There are a lot of allegories to it. I actually posted an interesting article in the group, in the event itself, that discusses many metaphors that are associated with the, here I wanted to find it, 1 second, with the tree. Most of them we actually do learn during the specialist course. And just want to explain to you too quickly. When we draw the tree, most of the time people draw the tree the way they see it from the top, which is the trunk and the branches. When we do the NeuroTree, we always start with the roots. 1 second, somebody's writing chat. Okay. Right, okay. So we always start from the root, okay? So using the neuroline techniques, drawing a neuroline, we're going to make, the first thing we're going to do is you can even use a pencil for that. I'm just gonna give you like a life hack. Why don't you make an outline of what your tree you would like to see, You can start this drawing. I like to kind of make an outline just to get an idea, what is it that I want to fill up, okay? I'm doing it with a pencil. And now that I made an outline of what I would like to see, just want to show you here. The page is kind of divided in 3 parts. The bottom is going to be the roots part. The middle will be the trunk. And the top will be the branches, okay? We're going to start on the bottom. Take the neuroline and go from the bottom and go up through the trunk. And then you always start the neuroline whenever you draw NeuroGraphica from one side of the paper to the other, starting at the edge and finishing at the edge, okay? And start making, I would say, maybe about 5 or 6 neurolines going from the bottom to top. So this is very important to go from the bottom. Why? Because as we draw the NeuroTree, we are realizing that this is a reference to the growth process. This is a reference to the way the human being grows and evolves, and that is from being small to growing up, okay? The allegory here is going up. The allegory here is growth up. This is an allegory of going, vertical growing to the top, right? The bottom is the soil, the earth part. The top is the heaven. And that's a reference also to various kind of growing, not just, it can be spiritual, right? When a person wants to grow toward the heaven. It could also be, the human physical growing, right? We all start as being small, a small child, and then we start growing and we grow physically, right? We grow physically. The more we grow physically, the more we grow in our maturity, in our mental understanding of how things are, in our emotional understanding, right? This is what the tree refers to, okay? That's my tree for now. I am thinking there's too much wideness over here. I want to fill it up with some more. And I don't have to go from the bottom. I can just go from top, just draw, add a piece of the neural lines, okay? Same thing on the bottom. Okay. So the next process, as you guys all know, the rounding process, I'm going to go quickly through it. And while we are doing the rounding process, I would like to tell you about the NeuroTree as a reference also to the way it's interesting that you can also pay attention to where you start your rounding process. I started on top, which shows that like I'm eager to see the branches. The branches are where the fruits come, right? The flowers and the fruits. And that's quite typical, I think, especially within, I think, the Western kind of culture, right? We are more keen, we're more focused on the fruits, on the results, on the goal in mind. And that's actually, I would say, as a coaching tool, that's would be a right thing to do, right? Those of you who usually draw with me for like learning purpose, we know that every time we draw, we put a topic for a goal while we're drawing NeuroGraphica, right? Because NeuroGraphica is a coaching tool. So you are welcome to do that now. You're welcome to just write the name maybe of your topic. You can put it on a separate paper, or you can put it right on top here. I think I'm going to write it right here. My goal is actually to something we're doing NeuroTree for is the creation of the new group on Facebook called Alina, are you here? I'm doing it together with Alina Smolyansky, who is also a certified neuroinstructor. Alina, remind me the name. Is it Orve? Wait, let me find it. I know it's here. I want to say the correct Orve ve'omanut, which means, light and art. And it's a new group that we're trying to initiate where we will be meeting maybe weekly, maybe bi-weekly, but we will be meeting regularly to draw some interesting pictures and draw some interesting ideas we find from the Jewish philosophy, from the Jewish wisdom, maybe bring in some Kabbalistic ideas, right? Because everything is tied in. And if you're interested, you are welcome to let me know and I will send you the link. And that will be my goal. I'm going to write it here, or the Omanut, correct? Yes. So that would be my goal. And my goal is to start growing it. So as I'm doing the rounding process, I can also do some breathing, right? Because the rounding process is what transforms everything. I'm inviting you to also do your rounding. Also, when you do the rounding process, you can do something we call the awareness practice, where you become aware of how your body feels and how your mind and emotions correspond to your rounding, to the process. You can see the video on my YouTube channel where I explain this in details. It's a very transcendental practice. We're not going to do this now because it's actually very, like I said, transcendental. It takes some time. I'm keen on doing the quick rounding today, and you're welcome to do this with me now. And then if you don't finish your rounding right away, as I do, you're welcome to finish it later. Don't put it off for too long. Finish it right after we finish the drawing. I would like now to focus on the special fruits that we're going to add to this tree. What are the fruits? These are the fruits are these are the special fruits that are symbolic of the land of Israel, the Holy Land. And it's interesting to note that, when people ask, is there a reference in the Bible, in the Torah? The Jewish people call the Bible the Torah. Is there a reference to the holiday of Tu BShvat? And although there is no clear reference, there's no saying celebrate the holiday of Tu BShvat, there is a reference in the Torah to the holiday that says, I'll read it to you now. That says, for the Lord your God is bringing you to a good land. And then it describes the land of Israel, a land of wheat, barley, grapes, figs, and pomegranates, a land of oil-yielding olives and date, honey. So there is a clear reference to the 7 fruits and the symbolic, the representation, the allegory to the land of Israel being a special place where all of the fruits, and we're going to discuss them now, are symbolic in how they, in what the land brings. Okay, so I'm gonna do some presentation just for you guys to see. Okay, so we're going to discuss the 7 fruits of Tu BShvat, but we're not just discussing them. We're actually going to put them on our tree. Okay. Can everybody see my share screen, the presentation? Yeah, excellent. Okay, the 7 fruits. We're going to start with the first fruit. The first, it's more, we call it the fruit, but it's wheat and barley. And it corresponds to food and fodder, right? What is food and fodder, right? Food is something that we humans eat, and fodder is something, that usually given to the animals, something that's like the kind of fruit, that's kind of plant that's given fully. We when we eat, for example, with the wheat, we separate the wheat, right? We take out the seeds, we mill it, we make flour. It's a very complicated, interesting process, but we're very refined. We humans don't just eat anything, right? The animals are not the same, right? The animals actually eat. Oh, I realized I didn't put I did the wrong thing here. Okay. The animals eat the barley. Disregard the name date, okay? It's supposed to be the barley. The barley. This is what you see as the barley. Look at the barley in hull, right? Look how very unrefined it is. And that's how animals eat it. You just give them a whole stalk and they will eat it. And this is a reference to the way the human being is, to the soul. The sages say that there are 2 souls. The human being possesses 2 souls. It's the human soul and the animal. It's the divine soul and the animal soul, okay? What does it mean, the animal soul? The animal soul refined and refers to the physical essence of who we are. And the divine soul, of course, refers to the spiritual, right? It's that need, that necessity to always grow, to always seek something, to grow up, right? To go higher. While the animals is the physical essence. And the interesting thing to note here that when we pay reference to both species, it refers that both kinds are equally important to the human being, okay? We need both. We need the divine soul, when we need to grow and trying to go up, and we need the physical soul, we need to be able to refine who we are as a human being when we interact with other people, who we are when we work on our human characteristics, right? Being able to socialize with other people, kind of restricting our such thing as jealousy or, emotional outburst, anything that brings us to figure out who we are as person to person within our interaction with another human being or with a group of beings, right? So it's interesting to note. I want to ask you something. What do you guys think? What do you think? Where should we put the resources that refer to wheat and barley? Any ideas, any opinions? The way we're going to put the resources, by the way, would be mostly in the form of a circle, because circle is really, some, in essence, a resource for comfort, it's a resource of completion also. Any ideas? Anybody wants to just give me?
I would say towards the bottom of the tree, since they come from the earth.
Right. Anybody else? Any other idea? Okay, so I actually agree with Shelley. I would also put the resource for both the wheat and the barley on the bottom, and you can actually draw a circle. Look at the way you add resources to the NeuroTree. You just look at the bottom, and you just kind of, you can even put your fingers down, figure it out. Where are your resources on the bottom, okay? And as you look at the resources, there, I'm going to put a circle, and one circle and two circles. And I would like to give you an interesting idea. You can look at your goal and you can start to kind of understand. You can actually write here wheat and barley, but also try to understand how does it fit in within your understanding of what wheat and barley represents to you. What would it be when you think about your goal, right? So my goal, let's say, Orvo or Onamin, Omanut. I have to remember the second word, Orvo Omanut. Okay, so how would it be referenced to me? And I started to think, like we talked about it, the barley, it's like it represents our attachment, our necessity to live in the physical world. So what would this mean, right? And I guess this would mean my physical work, the way, what I did, let's say, was this session, right? Advertise, write it down, put it on the Facebook and different social media for people to start knowing about the session or about our group in general, right? This is the physical work, right? This is what I physically do, my actions, right? And the wheat, which we talked about, association with the divine soul, would be something, I guess, why am I doing this? What would be the association, like my mental process work? Why am I doing this? What's the goal, right? Remember me and Alina, when we were discussing, what is the goal for this wonderful, group that we're trying to create? And we decided that the goal is, to start like various type of knowledge, within the framework, within the using of NeuroGraphica, and also the way people can start using this to, kind of learn something new, maybe find some new resources. And that's our main goal, for people to be able to find resources within their daily life, to go on, because there's so much going on around us, right? We have so many, let's call it, interesting events that, kind of develop around us. And often people are lost and they're like not sure what's going on and how to live in this, not such easy times. And that's our goal, to kind of bring a different type of resources. Now, as you add the resources, don't forget to go around it and round out all of the intersection. And the reason for that, you can see actually, right? If you see the resource without the rounding out, it's kind of like not integrated within the picture. As soon as you round out all of the intersections, the picture becomes like a part, the resource, the circle becomes a part of the picture. It's as if I drew it like originally. It's very interesting to know. That's why the rounding process is such an interesting process, both on the physical level and on the transformational level, when it allows you to kind of work out, kind of round out, or take away all the edges within your resistance, okay? So let's go further in our resources. And we added 2 fruits. Now remember, we have 7. So what are the other ones? Since we discussed the first 2 now, it's also important to note, right? It's important to note, where do these 2 fruits, 2 species, 2 kinds go? Do they, are they the kind, not go, I'm sorry, but are they the kind of food that we can easily pick up from the tree, let's say, and just eat them? As we have discussed, no, right? It's a whole process, right? For the wheat to be eatable for us humans, we actually have to take it, I remember like learning with the kids, the way the bread is made. It's such a complicated, such a, long awaited process. There's a whole, there's like 8 or 9 steps, right? You have to take out the wheat stalks, right? You have to beat it, and then you have to take the kernels to the meal, and you have to. I mean, nowadays we don't actually see that, right? We go to the store, we just buy flour, or we just go buy bread, right? Even easier. But the process itself is so interesting to know, and that's why it's very significant to know that both the barley. Barley is the same thing, right? We can't eat it from the stalk. We can't eat it from the ground. We have to take it, and then it's in hull. And for us humans to be able to eat it, it's taken out of the hull, and then the hull, I'm sorry. And then, we have to boil it, right? We can't eat it. It's interesting. That's why I said it's not fully a fruit, because fruits is usually something we can easily eat, right? Just take it from the tree and eat it. So that's something to know. So this also refers to our mental processes, right? Mental processes is something like what I was discussing, right? It's planning, it's thinking, what am I doing? What are my plans? What am I trying to achieve? What are my goals? And it's not something that we can just say, okay, boom, if I want to go on the cruise tomorrow, now that I thought about the cruise, boom, now I'm on the cruise, right? It takes time for the mental process to be able to develop or envelop within our physical world. And that's what we're going to do. These are on the bottom because these are our roots, right? Before the tree grows from the ground, the roots have to take place. The roots have to start growing and becoming stable within the soil, okay? Then we're going next to the fruits, the actual fruit, something that we can easily take from the tree or from the branch and eat. The first fruit we're going to discuss is the grape. Okay. Now, if you think about it, where do the grapes? Now, the grapes refer to the joy. Okay, grapes is a fruit that the wine is made from, so it refers to the joy, right? And there are a lot of teaching, a lot of interesting ideas that, especially nowadays, that discusses the happiness, right? The joy. A person should be able to be happy, and a lot of people have a goal to become happy. My opinion on that is that your goal shouldn't be happiness. You should start with happiness, right? That should be your a priori kind of statement. The way you are, the state of mind should be happy before you even start the project. So you can put the grapes, since they're branches, and we all know how grapes grow, right? They have to be attached to some structure, right? Otherwise, because it's branches, they can't hold it. But you can put some grapes maybe in your trunk, maybe for the present. So also the reference is the bottom, the roots refer to the past, the resources in the past, something we can refer to. The middle refers to, the trunk refers to the present state where we are now. And the future, the fruits, is of course the future, the goals that we're looking to get. Okay, so think about your goal at hand. And think, what would you like to put the grapes? Would you like to store them because it's emotions, it's joy, it's happiness? You want to put them within your trunk? I'm putting them within my trunk because I would like to be happy. I would like to start happy. I don't want to wait for them for the future. The happiness, the joy, the excitement should be now in the presence. Okay. Now, I will be using the neurographical symbols, which means, like, say, in this case, I will be using the circle to put in the grapes. But I know a lot of people, if you're the artistic type and you would like to actually draw the grapes, you're welcome to. It's really up to you how you would like to symbolize each resource, each species, each fruit within your NeuroTree. So it's interesting to note, what is it about the happiness? Why do we need to be happy? Why do we need to, and why grape? Like, what's with the grape, right? So grape, like I said, refers to the making of wine, right? Because it's great to be happy, but happiness, as I said, right? It's actually a state that's like wine that's, it has to be fermented, so to say. You know, it's something that a lot of people like. I know somebody that I spoke to, and she's amazing. She teaches EFT and everything. And I remember we're discussing, and she said, I used to be also like wake up in the morning and I couldn't always I didn't always wake up with a good mood. Sometimes I would wake up with a good mood and sometimes not such a good mood. Oh, Alina, thank you for clearing your Orba Omanut, light and art. Yes. Jewish wisdom through the neurographic art. Beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Excellent. Oh, Netta, I just saw your answer. Yeah, close to the roots. So she told me that, and I started working on it. I started consciously working on being happy. And there are a lot of teachings about it, within the Jewish philosophy, Jewish wisdom. There is actually a practice that Jewish people do when they wake up. They put their hands together and they say, thank you, God, for giving me my soul back so I can do, whatever was planned for me today. And I personally always say that. And then I say, I'm going to do that with happiness, with joy. And I also say the words besimcha, which means, with joy. That's my favorite phrase. People, my friends know that whatever happens, I always tell them, whatever you start, always say besimcha first, which means with joy, with happiness. And that should always be, the beginning of any project. So I'm putting my resource, I put it in the trunk because I want it to be in the present. It's something that I'm constantly with. Right. Also, when you say happiness, when we discuss happiness, it also brings in the emotional part of who we are. And that's an important aspect, always bring in the emotions, because whatever you're experiencing in life, you can just always think about stuff, but, just say, I'm eating the grape. It's good. It tastes good. But if you say it with excitement, you say, I'm eating this grape and it's so delicious. Actually, as I just said that, I actually felt the taste of a grape in my mouth. And that's how it usually works, the session. Okay. Do you want to take my phone? I'm sorry, my daughter does do something. Okay. Let's see what else. Let's go further within our. My mouse got stuck. Excuse me. And okay, here it is. By the way, whatever I'm explaining to you, I have it written down. So if anybody's interested, you're welcome to let me know, and I will send you a copy of it. It's a very interesting article that I found, and I will be happy to share with you guys. The next fruit is called the fig, right? So everybody know about the grape. Anybody here who doesn't know what a fig is? Anybody here who never tried it, who never saw it? It's, I believe, a seasonal fruit, so the stores don't always have it, but it's extremely sweet. Just want to let you know how it tastes. If the grapes is more like kind of sourish, and some of types of the grapes are sweet, some of them more sour. The fig is sweet, although I'll be honest with you, I don't know the difference between, I don't know if there is a difference in taste between the white and the purple ones. I think the white ones are more mild. If anybody here knows, you're welcome to share your opinion. I think, yeah, from my memory, the white one is more mild, while the purple one is richer. And the difference between them, as you can see in the picture, is that the green one is less like, it's not like fully developed fig, and you can still eat it. You know, it's like an underdeveloped, but it's still eatable. And the purple fig is a fully developed. So, and it's much, much sweeter as a result. So the fig refers to, let's see. The fig is about involvement. What does it mean, involvement, right? When you start a project, you start thinking about it and you start getting an understanding of how much time would you be devoting to this project, right? And that's a resource, that's a resource you should be thinking about, how much any project you start, right? Let's say my project is this group that we're going to be running with Alina. It's a beautiful group. And the first thing we started discussing, like, how often would we do it? And we came up with an idea that we would do it once a week and we would take turns leading it, right? And that's the idea, the involvement, the kind of a time, time commitment. What else would be the environment? The environment also, involvement would also be meaning, how much do you care? Like, how much of your, so to say, soul, or how much of your kind of mind, what are you putting in, right? And that's also involvement. How much do you care? Do you want it to be like, any project you start, you can figure it out right away. Do you want it to be something simpler and something you don't want to devote that much time, maybe like a side project? Or do you want it to be like a major project that would take your time, that, and when we talk about project, it can be any goal, right? If I'm planning to go on a cruise, I am thinking, how much time would I devote to that, right? Would I sit down for a long period of time and explore, research all my options for a cruise, or will I just sit down and look up what's on sale and just take it? Any goal, any project can be, this resource can be used for any goal or project, okay? And also fig refers to the Kabbalistic sphere called the dot. And it's about knowledge, not just regular knowledge, but deep internal knowledge, like more, it's like combination of knowledge and intuition, that internal. And it's also knowledge that comes from like a physical action, So I said, this is a very practical resource. So think, where would you like to put it? Do you want to put it in your present? Is it something that you feel you're dealing with in the present time? As I'm saying that, I already did it with my finger. I know where mine will go. Or is it something in the future? Is it something that you're not aware of yet, but it's something that you would like to become aware, and you can put it in the future. It also depends, like, where are you towards your goal? I think we are here toward the top, but still in the trunk within our goal. So that's interesting to note. Like I said, you can put your fingers and you will feel where it goes. Excuse me. Think about your goal. Think about this resource. When you do the rounding process, if you start thinking, what does it mean for me to be involved? How much time am I investing? I think if you think from a financial, like if you ask somebody who is a financial, broker, or anybody who is in finance about the word involvement, that would mean investment, right? How much are you investing in it? And maybe your goal, I actually did say that we will draw the NeuroTree of financial growth and abundance, right? So let's say your goal at this point to start thinking, what are you investing within your project, right? What are you doing within your, let's say, that financial goal, whatever goal or project you have in mind? And it could also mean, the financial investment. Maybe you're planning to invest in stocks or some kind of, investment that you have on a financial aspect. That would be the time for you to figure out, how much are you investing? Okay. So it's interesting to note the 7 kinds. The number 7 is very significant, right? If any of you took the basics course, you guys know the 7 steps of the algorithm, the 7 steps of how we draw NeuroGraphica. 7 is a significant number within anything, right? We have 7 days of the week, the 7 major colors, 7 musical notes. 7 is a significant number. 7 refers to the Kabbalistic learning of Sfirot, and we have 7 physical Sfirot. That means any project. I run a program called Kesef, the Game of Money, and over there too, we discussed how any project goes through 7 steps from beginning to completion. So 7 is very interesting to know that even here, the 7 refers to the way we, actualize anything within the physical world. So I put my fig over here, and it refers to the investment, to the involvement I'm planning to put in my program, By the way, as I said that, I started feeling that I actually want to make it bigger. If you have that, you're welcome to do that, just kind of go over the circle and add another line to make it bigger, to make it wider, We'll quickly go through it and just kind of round out all the edges and just voila. Which means I'm getting more emotionally attached or more involved within my project. And you know what? The fact that it's coupled next to the excitement really does reflect how I feel. I become more excited as I start thinking about the project, the group, what we're planning to bring, Alina tomorrow will be teaching her class at, Alina is doing it 1 o'clock Pacific time, which I believe is 3 hours ahead for Eastern Standard Time. So for New Yorkers and EST would be 4 o'clock. And Alina is going to do the first course. She's doing an exciting project called the Neurocalligraphy, which she will be telling you about tomorrow, but it's a very exciting course. I'm personally very excited. But yeah, like I said, as I'm going toward the top, toward the fruits, I'm getting more excited. And the next fruit we're going to discuss is called the, one second, I believe it's a pomegranate, which refers to the deed, okay? What do we mean by deed? The actual deed, the actual physical action. And by the way, if you are interested, what I would also advise you to do, because I'm trying to integrate as many practices as possible, you can use the pictures. If anybody's interested, I will be able to send you this presentation for you guys to look at, and you can look at these pictures and use them as metaphoric cards. Something, when you look at the picture, you can ask yourself, what do I see? And you can choose either the picture of the, let's say in this case, the pomegranate with a tree, or the pomegranate separately. Yes, you can take it. Excuse me, guys. Just my daughter is asking me. Here. I'm still in session. I will come, okay? Close the door. Misty, close the door, okay, honey? Okay.
Mama, tomorrow
I'm in session, sweetie. Can we discuss it tomorrow, later? Not tomorrow. I'm going to finish and then I'll come on your time. Okay, sweetie? I love you. Pardon me for this natural interruption. So you can look at the picture, and say, what do I see? I'm in session. What do you want, Epic? Here you go. And you ask yourself, what do I see in the picture? And then you can also ask, where in the picture is my resource? And that will also give you some clues. I recently led a session about using metaphoric cards as you draw the NeuroGraphica. You're welcome to do that. I'm actually going to share it with you guys now. I'm going to share the link for those of you who are interested in doing it while you're drawing. I'm going to put it in the chat, everybody. You're welcome to download and you're welcome to copy it for yourself, okay? So we are going to talk about pomegranate. What is pomegranate? If you start thinking about it, right? First of all, it's color red, right? So we're already talking about that it's the most kind of physical substance, right? It's something that we use to do something, right? It's something for doing. It's actually taking actions, and it's actually doing stuff. So that's interesting. It's exactly what we are doing right now, right? I'm leading class using the Jewish wisdom and Jewish philosophy within a neurographic drawing. So that's what pomegranate is about. It's doing something. Also, if you think about the way pomegranate is, right? It's something that has a skin, a red skin. The skin is not eatable. But when you open it up, it has a bunch of little tiny red, like I would say vessels, right? Red little seeds that are eatable, right? And there are a lot of them. According to the Jewish philosophy, there are 613 seeds in each and every pomegranate. And that refers to 613 mitzvot, which refers to, righteous deeds, right? Our goal, right? A goal of every person is to do as many righteous deeds as possible, right? And each and every pomegranate has 613 seeds, which is very interesting, right? So think about it, everybody do something, everybody does something, everybody takes actions. And what are your actions? You can think about it philosophically, or you can also think about it, in this specific case. What are the deeds? What are the actions I'm going to take to bring myself to my goal, right? And as I'm talking about actions, I'm actually going to put the circle right here. Okay, it's on the verge of going to the branches because some of my actions will be in the future, but I already took a step, right? So I'm starting over here in the trunk, but I will go toward the branches, right? You can make it big or small. By the way, the size of the circle is completely intuitive. You decide how big or how small you would like for it to be. So yeah, I put my pomegranate, and you can make it very symbolic if you want. You can take this circle and add some smaller circles through it, and discuss what are your actions. Yes, somebody asking me something?
Yeah, it's Alexis. Hi. Is
Hi.
it okay? I can see that your pomegranate overlaps. Is it okay if our pomegranate overlaps with other fruit?
Absolutely. And it's symbolic. You can later on, that was my goal to do later, let's say, right? My step. I would think, how is it relevant to my involvement, right? You think how this steps refers to, why does it overlap? You can start thinking, what is it telling you? And you can start thinking, let's say in this case, taking actions. You can put smaller circles that will describe each and one of your actions, right? In this case, I'm going to draw circles, and they will be symbolic of the courses and the workshops and the sessions we will be offering in the group, right? And I like to make sure none of my circles are empty, meaning each one of my circles would have a neural line going through it. Why? Because it's like kind of giving a life to my actions, not just planning it, but actually kind of utilizing it. Actually, I want it to actually happen, okay? The neural line is like kind of a lifeline. I call it a lifeline because it kind of gives life, it's like a vein through your body. Since we're talking about pomegranate, something red, reference to your blood also, right? And that's what it is. Think about actions. Think about where do you want to be? What are you doing to reach your goal? If your goal is a financial goal, for example, your actions would be, figure out what's holding you back. Don't just say, the good thing is to involve, right? Investment. What are you doing? How much you want? But also start thinking, what's holding you back? How come you haven't achieved your goal yet? And that's a great way to start, That's what we do in Kesef, the game of money, the program I lead, where we actually go through the blocks and inhibitions that the person has toward money or toward the source of money. And, just want to let you know, throw it in for you guys. Money is never about money. Money is an attitude toward energy, toward love, toward giving and accepting something from people, from, if you're a religious person, from God or from the universe, however you want to refer to it. But that's what money is, right? And that's what you start thinking. What are my actions? What am I going to do? Right? And as I go to the bottom, I start realizing, and I want to pinpoint, I'm thinking this circle is our session today. And you can do that. You can assign each circle as a specific action, or you can do what I just did now. I know this circle is a session today, right? This circle is a session I'm leading tomorrow. It will be in Russian, right? But you can also just draw circles and say, some of them actions are something I will know in the future. I just know that there exist, here, toward the top, toward the fruit area. And they will start actualizing, they will come to me later on. Okay. So that's something. You can actually fill it all up with circle, right? So it actually looks like pomegranate. Okay. So let's go further. I'm going to do the share screen. And we're going to go further within our fruits, with our 7 kinds. The next step is olive. Oh, wait, I didn't share it. Okay, now I'm sharing, right? Resistance. Olives refers to resistance. Ooh, that's a magical word. Those of you who draw NeuroGraphica for quite some time know what we're talking about. Resistance is that something that starts, that refers to that struggle within a human being, right? Whenever a human being is trying to reach something new, to grow up, to start, growing, getting to the new field of knowledge, there is something that we call the resistance, something we call the struggle. It's usually the struggle within, right? It's usually, like an argument with yourself, right? And, I just want to acknowledge the fact that it is a part of the process, okay? It actually is a part of the process. Struggle is important because through resistance, through struggle, through working out, with yourself, you kind of can achieve something else. You can get some insights that you wouldn't otherwise, right? And this refers to olive. When we discuss olive, we don't just discuss olive, but we discuss, I had that picture, but I wasn't able to get it. Okay, we actually discuss not just the olive itself, but the oil from olive, right? The way we usually use olive within our life. I mean, some people eat olives and that's good. But what we're discussing here is the olive oil, right? It has a special place within the Jewish philosophy, Jewish history, right? We know that recently, the previous holiday we had, the Hanukkah, was about finding the olive oil that was still usable to light up the menorah, the holy candelabra in the temple, right? After it was desecrated. And that's what it's about. Olive oil is about the struggle, the resistance you go through. And you know what? You overcome it. By going through the resistance, you bring out the oil, the best part of the olive, and then you can use it to kind of light yourself up, to give yourself strength to go further. And that's a beauty. So think about, where would you like to put your olives? Do they go in the present? Do they go maybe in my mind? I don't know why, but it kind of came here and I'm like thinking about it. Is it really here? Or maybe it's over here, maybe it's toward the future. Maybe you're not going through the resistance yet. It's something usually happens between the action and, actually doing action, doing something. And, it takes time, right? You don't see the fruits right away. It takes time for them to grow. You don't see the results right away. And at that time comes the resistance. The resistance is that hesitation, right? That tells you, I don't know, are you sure you want it? Are you sure you're going to get it? No, the resistance could be your faith, your belief, whether you will actually want it or whether you actually, maybe do you deserve it, right? Sometimes your inner self tells you, I don't know, are you sure you deserve it, right? Or it could also be about the physical struggle, the physical circumstances start arising and you're like, I don't know what to do. What's happening here? And the goal is to be able to overcome those circumstances, those ideas, those hesitations, and always allow yourself to think, yes, it will happen. So I just realized that, yes, I actually just got an insight about why I want to put my my resistance over here, because, first of all, my intuition does know better. I'm going to trust it. And I'm going to put it here because I want it to be next to the resource of happiness, right? That face, the joy, and next to my involvement. I believe in doing things, even if you're like not sure, right? When me and Alina were discussing how we want this group to open, we were discussing, do we want it? Do people need it? We weren't sure if that's something people would want, if that's something, there's so many NeuroGraphica groups, I mean, in English, not so many, but in Russian, there's like 100 at least, I would say, we were wondering, is that something? And then we decided that, what, this is so unique, it's so unusual. And so we decided that, yes, we definitely want to do it because we want to bring happiness and joy to people. And we discussed the involvement. We're going to do it on a weekly basis. So people have, structure. People have, routine kind of in a good way. People have, something that will be happening every week. And they can rely on it. They know they can come here and have a good time and find resources and just draw for the fun of it, or actually do, an analysis of where are they, what do they want to achieve. And both ways are fine, So that's where my resistance went. Think about where do you want your resistance to go, and put it in there. And of course, go around the edges and round everything out. Okay. We're actually going to the last fruit. Is everybody, and I decided, came to my mind, so I'm going to do that. How's everybody doing? Everybody's with me. Everybody understand what I'm talking about, what I'm discussing? Anybody truly lost here? Should I be answering any questions at this point? Okay, I'm assuming everybody's busy drawing, which I think is a great thing to do. It's a perfect thing to do, okay? If you have any questions, you're welcome to put it in the chat, and I will be glancing at it every once in a while to see it. The next question is, the next fruit, is a fruit. It's great. I'm so glad to hear that, Angie. Excellent. Very happy. The next fruit is the perfection, the date, okay? Oh, thank you, Claudia. You're still with us. I'm glad to see that. The next date is perfection. It's the date. The next fruit, it's the date. I put the wrong pictures. So I'm going to fix that now, okay? We're going to Google date, because it's so important for you guys to see the picture of the dates, okay? I want you to be able to see it. Why? Because it's the last step, it's the last fruit, and it means perfection. When I say perfection, did everybody's inner perfectionist kind of grow up and said, are you talking about me? So what do we talk about when we say perfection? What do you guys think? Any ideas, any thoughts you want to share? Or you just want to guys draw quietly, which I also respect, okay? This is the picture of the date tree, okay? Just want you guys to know. Okay, I'm going to put it inside our, okay, I'm going to put this later on in the barley, guys. Okay, I'm going to fix it afterwards, okay? Over here, I want to put a picture of the date tree, okay? And I'm going to put a picture of the actual dates, okay, guys? So you guys know what I'm talking about. Most of the time, the dates that we actually see, by the way, are dried dates, okay? But just so you guys know, I remember at one point, because I do this every year, so every year I study different types of, I do different approaches to Tu BShvat. By the way, on my YouTube channel, there's another session, which I did Tu BShvat session, and it did references to the Sfirot, the Kabbalistic Sfirot, the 7 divine kind of structure. And what I learned there is that it used to be that people, let's say travelers in the ancient times, would only take dates with them. You know why? Because it's long lasting, right? You can do dry dates and they would last a long, really long time, right? And it's also very resourceful, right? A person can eat 1 or 2 dates and kind of, so to say, get all their vitamins, you know, the vitamins that we usually take, let's say, in a pill kind of way. Used to be in the ancient time, people would eat 1 or 2 dates, and not even ancient. I know people now who are very like, you know, keen on their diet and healthy lifestyle. And they make sure they eat 2, I think, or 3 dates a day, because that's how they get all the necessary nutrients and vitamins that the body needs. Just want to let you know, you know. So date is perfection. A date refers to also like honey, right? If you think about it, honey is like something very sweet, but it's also very, you know, the date honey specifically, right? Let's say it refers to something sweet, and it also refers to something nourishing, right? We all know we have a sweet tooth, right? That we, you know, some of us, we eat artificial kind of sweetness, which is candy or anything else. You know, I'm a ice cream kind of girl. And if you eat, I used to eat dates every day. Now that I'm looking, I'm like, I should get back to that diet. If you eat dates every day, it will actually satisfy your sweet tooth. It's very sweet and very filling. You know, it's very fulfilling. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, what do we mean when we say perfection? When we say perfection, what we mean is the completion, is the actual fruit, the actual goal, right? Which would be date, because date is, like we said, is something that's so complete. It has everything, all the nutrients within it, right? In the Psalms, by the way, there is a phrase that says, tzaddik, which is a perfectly righteous person, shall bloom as a date palm, right? And it's interesting also to note how the olive and the date are like kind of opposites, but they're more complementing each other. With olive, like we said, we have to actually press. It's a tedious process to press and get the oil out of it. With date, you just pick it up and you eat it. It's like two interesting, you know, two different approaches, right? And remember, we talked about the olive being the struggle. The date is once you undergo the struggle, once you bring out the resources from your struggle, you start seeing the fruits, so to say, of your labor, right? You start seeing what you are achieving, right? And it's beautiful. Date also means peace, tranquility, and perfection, right? When it says perfection, it's also peace, right? Once we achieve our goal, what do? We become satisfied, we become happy. All actually, once we achieve our goal, all the resources kind of line up and they fit in with this one goal, right? Within this one fruit. This is one resource, the resource of fruit, of perfection, of peace, right? When we achieve something, we become at peace. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, Alina, thank you. The brain consumes glucose, right? All of you guys know when kids come, you know, especially nowadays when everybody like homeschooling, right? And they're like, Mommy, we have a break, can we eat something? Right? And they're like, mostly, can we eat candy, right? And Mommy like, no, you can eat an apple, right? Why? Because both have glucose, right? And apples are better glucose. But yeah, sweets are, you know, what the brain needs in order to process things, you know, in order to understand, in order to get from the beginning where we started to the very top. Okay. So look at your picture. Like I said before, you can also look at the picture of the date. Choose a picture and start thinking, what do I see? And describe the picture. You know, I want to choose the palm picture. I see a tall palm, and the very top, there are tons and tons of fruits, the dates, that are like kind of hanging down. And they telling me, here, pick me, eat me. And, you know, and then you say, what are your resources within this picture? And I say my resource are the abundance, right? The abundance of fruits over here. And then I can go back to my picture, and then I say, where do I want this fruit, this resource of abundance, you know, my fruits? In my case, it would be an abundance, a lot of fun, interesting, exciting sessions, workshops, courses that I would enjoy teaching and people would enjoy, you know, learning and participating in. And I realized I want to put it right here. There's such nice, huge space for it, right? And yeah, it comes out big on me. So yeah, you know what? I am just so happy and I'm glad. And, you know, when it comes to getting my fruits, my goals, reaching my goals, yep, I'm going to be quite happy that it's nice and big. And you, by the way, can do similar to what we did with the pomegranate. You can fill it up if you want to, by the way. You don't have to. You can fill it up with smaller circles. We can leave it like this, a nice, big, giant circle. Go through it and do the rounding process, and then you can breathe in. I am in need of breathing in. Do you guys know why? Because this is such a huge circle, and I'm comparing to all the smaller circles I have here. I'm looking at it and I'm like, I know, I feel like the need to breathe, the need to actually have this breathing sensation, going through the breathing, allowing my body to kind of process what my goal is within my mental state. My body is looking at it and like, you know, we have to process it. We have to figure out how do we get there. And I say, no problem, because look at all of the steps we already did. Piece of cake, okay? You can go each time, you know, you can figure it out. This is how you grow, right? You start from mental process, which is first a very general idea of what you want. Then you kind of start refining that idea, right? Ground it, take it to the mill, turn it into a flour, right? And we all know what do we make from flour? We can make cake, or we can make something sacred, which is bread, right? Bread is a sacred food in each and every culture, nation, anything you want. Bread is a sacred food. Why? Because it's a one major kind of resource for a human body, right? And how does bread happen? We make dough. I used to make challah, the bread that usually most of the people eat on Sabbath, right, on Shabbat. And we all know when we make dough for bread, it needs to actually sit and grow, right? And that's what it is, right? Our ideas need to sit and grow before we start bringing them up, working out details, bringing in happiness, bringing in the involvement, how much, you know, figuring out what is it that we want, you know, bringing in the action, start working on it, dealing with the resistance and saying, yeah, I know, I'm not sure about this and I'm not sure about that. But when the resistance comes, it's kind of bringing, you know, the resistance is about bringing your hesitations, excuse me, to the top, you know, to light, so to say. Once you deal with it, right? You figure out what's going on. You finish with your struggle and you bring up more insights, and then you can come to the fruits, okay? And as we do this, we kind of complete the way we bring in the 7 fruits within, you know, the way we can integrate the idea, the 7 fruits, the specific holiday, and it's very symbolic. We're actually drawing today, you know, it's like an auspicious time for us to make those plans and to see the goals coming, okay? Because like I said, today's a new year. We're on the new year, you know, we're planning for the year ahead, you know. I usually do planning for 3 months ahead. I like to do that. You know, I find quarterlies are much better. I mean, you can do the year too, but quarterlies give you more like kind of more concentration and more understanding of where you want to be. Okay. So as we put all the resources in the picture, what is the next step? the next step, what we just did was the mental framework, right? We thought about everything, we planned everything, Now we need to start adding color. Okay, how do you add color? You can use your markers, you can use highlighters, it's really up to you. Use your intuition to see which resource you would like to color first. For me, I'll be honest with you, what's catching my eye and telling me here, come here, is my goal. And I just realized, I promise you, I did not do this on purpose, that I realized the name of the goal is within that circle. No wonder I wanted to draw it here, right? As I just looked at it, I'm like, oh, wait, their name is here. So I actually gave a name to my circle, to my resource before I even put the resource here, okay? That's how it usually works. So I'm thinking, what color do I want this resource to be? And I realized I want it to be nice and vibrant, because I want my resource to be so vibrant, so colorful, that my other resources would be running to it. I would be like, this goal is so attractive. I want to, I would be motivated to always work and continue to, bring in my involvement and actions, and always, of course, the happiness, with this goal, developing the group and working with it and giving sessions and all that stuff. And my finger took this pencil even without me actually realizing that that's what I want, this deep pink. I'm using the metallic pencils. I just threw away the box if any of you want. This is the box, Spectrum Noir. I'm happy with it. I would recommend it from my personal opinion. It's very nice. It's not fully metallic. It's not like shiny, but I find them to be much more vibrant than the regular pencil, which to me are not as vibrant as I would like them to be. I actually often like to use the oil pastels, and they're also metallic oil pastels, because I find them to be much more much more flexible, much more smeary than other pastels that I have. So I'm going to add some pencils first. I don't want to add the oil pastels until later, because for now I just want to process, and it's also the process. When you start coloring, that's a process. By the way, just so you guys understand, when I said we did the mental framework, now we're going to add color. Color refers to the emotional state of the person. Color refers to people, bringing their emotion. Now that we did the mental state, let's start see how excited we get. And that's where color comes in. When you choose a color, with every color you choose, start thinking, why did I choose this color? What does it mean to me? Why, how is it relevant to my project, to my goal, to the specific resource? And if keep yourself, like some thought. You can, you don't have to, by the way. Some people ask me, do I always have to do the thinking process? And I say, unless you go to a coach who kind of guides you through the process, you don't have to, you can listen to some music. I like to do that when I do coloring. I turn on something I want to hear, some opera or some music I want to listen to. And, it's this meditational time too, giving me this excitement. As I look at this nice and pinkish, goal, I get very excited. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I'm so excited. And when I say excited, it means I'm going to my excitement. And I have an idea. Again, the color, just to use intuitively, my excitement will be orange. That's what I came up with. So you guys choose the color based on your preference. I will be teaching the NeuroColor course in March. I believe it's the third week in March or February. I don't remember now. If you want to, you can ask me personally. And that's exactly what we discuss, what each color means, what does it refers to, deep analysis of each color, and how it, falls into the framework of other understanding of how we draw Neurographica. Okay, so my excitement, orange, I can explain to you for quite some time, but It doesn't have to be, you don't have to analyze why orange. You can, like I said in the before. You don't have to. Sometimes if it just makes you feel good, that's what it is. That's what counts, okay? Now, my mind and my hand just took, you know, the green, okay? So I'm going to think, where is my green? And I decided my green is going to be the involvement, okay? Making my involvement is kind of greenish. Kind of doesn't look as green in the color as it does on the pencil itself. The pencil does look green, but once I color, it looks more like maybe bluish kind of green, but don't worry, when I add my my oil pastels, they're very vibrant, so I will make sure to make this green unless I change my mind, but for now I definitely want to make it green, okay? Okay. By the way, you can do colors also different way. It's according to each fruit. Whatever the fruit is a color, you can use the colors that way too, by the way, okay? Because we know that the physical representation, the way the fruit actually looks, like the pomegranate, I'm actually thinking of making it red, right? The actions. You can go by that philosophy as well, okay? Where is my red? And I want to make it nice red, you know, like this nice actions, okay? My actions resource, my pomegranate is going to be nice and red. And what you can also do if you want to add more symbolism to your picture, thinking maybe I'm going to do that. I'm going to add another piece, another symbolism to this pomegranate. I think you will understand what I'm talking about. I will make it crowny. You can add a crown to your pomegranate, kind of, you know, like I said, you're welcome to find the video. I think it was from 2 years ago, maybe, about Tu BShvat and how I referenced each resource to the Sfirot. And one of the, you know, the major Sfirot, that's how everything starts, is Keter. Keter is the crown, you know, and you can actually do some, you know, body processing. You can put your hands on your head, kind of massage the top of your head, because that's where your crown is, you know, kind of feel the crown and say, there's my crown. Yeah, that's fine. Kind of feel your crown on top. You can use two hands and like go like this, you know, kind of form the crown on your head. And if you want to, just throwing a little something else in there. I realized I didn't use the trees metaphoric cards, because as I started teaching, I realized I would like to know, kind of focus more on the fruits itself. So, but I promise you, I'm going to do another session where I will be using, you know, the metaphoric cards for the trees that I posted in the event, and we will utilize them, okay? That's something I am going to do, and I'm going to, here, that's the session over here. I'm going to make it more red. There you go, bringing it out, okay? So I remember, I'm going to look at the picture and say, oh, this is it. This is the session that I told, you know, promised without, you know, promised to everybody that I'm going to make that session with the NeuroTree's metaphoric card. I mean, not NeuroTrees, trees. Okay, where are we going next? I'm trying to think, what do I want to color again? I can either grab a pencil and then think what I want to do, but at this point, I'm looking at my resources. Where do I want to go? And I realize I want to do my struggle. It's time to face my resistance. What color is my resistance? I'm thinking, And I'm going to make it blue. Do you know why? My resistance is mostly within my head, you know. Are you sure you want it? Are you sure you should do it? Are you sure you will get it? Are you sure people will come? And all of those little thoughts that each and every instructor in NeuroGraphica, I'm going to give you a little secret, you know, even Pavel has those thoughts. I mean, he gets 50, 100, 200, 400 people in his session. And we were discussing recently, and he said, you know, even I get those thoughts sometimes. What if, would anybody come to my session? So that's like, you know, we're all human. And that's what it is. The hesitation is in one's head. So yeah, I'm gonna make it blue. And I'm gonna make it pretty. For some reason, this hesitation, about you guys, I don't know why I'm so excited about this hesitation. I guess because when I'm hesitating stuff, right? Because I'm thinking, would people want to see this? Would people want to come? That will bring me, and as I'm growing, I'm going to add a little blue color over here at the bottom. That will bring me to my involvement, right? The more I think, the more I have that motto, right? That's what I teach in CASF also, you know. You may be afraid of doing your steps, but you know what? Just do it. Just start doing stuff. Just start taking action. Just start doing stuff. Here, I'm going to add a little blue over here as I'm going. Connection to the pomegranate. Just start acting, and slowly but surely, you know, there's a saying, your eyes are scared, but you're still taking actions because, you know, overall, underneath, I do believe that would be great. It's a great project we're starting. It's a great group. And it's something that will work out greatly. Okay. So what am I coloring next? I'm going to the bottom. I'm going to focus on this roots, the roots of my project. Okay. It's interesting. You can actually choose to start with your roots, right? That would be a logical thing to do. Like I said, when you do the coloring, do go with your intuition. You can choose two ways. You can do logical or intuition. I'm doing intuition in this case. And as I'm looking at my roots, I know what I'm going to make them. My roots, I'm going to make the color that they are. Okay, the barley is going to be like this brownish color, but it's kind of metallic, so it's a little like shiny. And my roots are going to be like goldenish color, you know. This is brownish, but I'm going to add a little gold to it as well. Kind of want them to shine. I'm not sure why. I would probably have to think about it, but I have this feeling that I want these two resources to be so shiny. And as I said, that I didn't get an idea of why, because I want them to be so shiny, so kind of vibrant, so to say, shiny, I would say more, that they will be so resourceful, that they will be giving light and shine and resource to my whole tree, my whole project, okay? I want the shininess. I'm going to add, not just this, I really shouldn't, but I have to this time. I'm going to add a little bit, not a lot, so I can put some field lines, some goldness into my, I'm using the gold oil pastels. Okay, do you see how once I add the gold, do you see how shiny they become? They're like more visible. And that's my goal. I want to make them so shiny that they're going to kind of, you know, feed up my resources. They're going to give life to my present resources and of course my future. Okay. What am I using for the trunk? You can choose the colors that you want. I am thinking about making the trunk actually the right color. Something like, I want something more brownish, okay? You guys can choose. I have my own idea lately that I want things to be like more like a physical kind of colors, and brown is like one of them. Why do I keep getting brown, but it looks red to me? It's so interesting. It's so funny. I'm going to do this. Look at this. Yeah, I need some brown. Brown is a great color for some like practical, you know, practical way to bring in kind of energy within your project, right? Because brown is the color of the earth, of the soil, right? And earth is what left everything, right? Earth is where, you know, what kind of gives, right? It's soil, right? It's what gives like life to plants. It's what grows everything. I want to honor kind of that kind of energy. Okay, yeah. I know it doesn't look as vibrant in the picture, in the camera, as it is on my picture. It's darker. The color is darker in my picture. Just want to let you know. Okay, I'm gonna add and I'm gonna add green on top. Okay, that's the colors I'm choosing. You guys are welcome to choose your own colors. You know, I'm going to add the energy, the color of the green on the top, right, where the branches would be. By the way, you're welcome to add other elements like leaves to the tree, you know. You're welcome to add smaller other fruits, you know. Besides what we discussed, you're welcome to add more fruits to your tree, right? These are the major resources just for the purpose of learning is what I discussed with you. You're welcome to add more stuff. You're welcome to add your own resources, whatever they are, you know, not just the steps, resources. Just make your tree as interesting and possible. Now, I want to bring your attention to the background as I'm going to finish coloring this in. Think about the background. What is the background? Okay. The background is something where you can start bringing in some symbols or resources that will help you with your goal, that are relevant to your goal, but they're already like, that you're already doing, kind of say, you know, like I created the group, we created events, you know, I have 10 more minutes, okay? I created, you know, I'm leading a session today and tomorrow, you know, the background, we're going to put something that would either be a symbol. Let's say if I want to put a sun, that would be a symbol of like energy, right? The evanescent energy, the energy of the sun, right? You don't do anything about the sun. You wake up every morning, the sun is there. You don't have to like work for it. You don't have to ask for it. You can thank for it, right? Gratitude. As I say that, I realize I'm going to put gratitude here, right? And that's what it's about. The background is like, what do you want in the present? Because remember, this is the present, right? What's in the present that's like kind of outside of your project that you would like to be utilized for your project, okay? I saw this interesting element and I got interested. I said, oh, that's what I'm going to add to my tree. This is going to be gratitude, okay? Interesting, it became oval. Oval is a symbol of something new, right? What happened? I'm sorry, sweetie pie. I'm still in session now. I'm still in session now. Please go read some more epic or go ask Moshe to help you. I'm sorry, guys, 1 second. Okay, I had to do some negotiations, okay? What I told you, okay? Okay, sorry again. I'm back. So like I said, the oval is actually the beginning of something new, right? Which I find to be very symbolic, right? And it's also, you know, nice, right? So this is interesting. Somebody drew this and I was like, oh, this looks so interesting to me, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the neural lines and integrate the circle within my NeuroTree, you know? Okay, the present part of my NeuroTree, okay? You can do that too, okay? And I would probably do the same thing on this side, okay? Yeah, this kind of reminded me, just want to let you guys know, I don't know. Association I had from this is like the speakers, you know, those big, huge speakers that people have like at events and something, you know, and this is kind of like amplifiers, right? Something that like somebody talks normal voice, but the speakers, the amplifiers will make your voice bigger, will bring it to like bigger audience or more masses. That's what I felt like doing, okay? That's what I'm going to do. I guess maybe that's what it is. It's symbolic of us, growing. That's interesting, right? Or me growing, right? Of our practices. I mean, both me and Alina, we have practiced separately, right? I do the world of Neurographica. Alina has her own, I believe, light through art practice. And we decided to team up and, do something much bigger than both of us, right? Two are better than one, right? Okay. As I do this, of course, remember to go through and do work out all of the edges, bring the roundness, bring harmony, and kind of harmonize all of your edges. Allow the edginess, which kind of in Neurographica, the edginess, the intersections refers to the resistance, that resistance we talked about, the struggle. I want to harmonize it now, I want to bring it to the minimum. And it's interesting, I just realized it's actually next to my struggle. So yeah, I'm going to round it out. As I do that, I realize I'm paying attention to my body, and I realize my body needs some breathing. My body needs some processing, this new amplification, this new, kind of making everything much bigger, kind of amplifying, increasing the power, the energy of what we're starting, the energy of my project, right? And that's something to pay attention to, guys. Something to see, how do you do this, And you can actually start thinking over here if you want to. If you're ready for that step, by the way, like I'm not ready for that step, but because when I think about it, nothing comes to my mind. But if you're ready to think, how are you amplifying your goal? How are you taking it to the next level, right? How are you, this could also be, what are your outside resources? You can think, what are your outside resources with this project? So all this thought process, you can, like I said, you can do this, or you can, you can kind of say, I'm not so interested in thinking so much about it because I'm not ready yet. Or you can just, breathing in and out, like that's what I feel like doing. Just allow my body to process this information, this new kind of idea that I gave to my mind and my body. As you breathe in, it's deep breathing in and slow breathing out, okay? And it's, 8:37, yes, we're going to finish our drawing because I know we promised for like an hour and a half, right? I want to make sure, I want to be aware of timing. I want to make sure that everybody's comfortable, they have other plans. They have also, like me, kids that are waiting to go to sleep, or maybe not, right? Okay. So finish your rounding, and then you can also think, do you want to add a color? Do you want to add a color, or do you want to leave it like this? It's really up to you. It's very unique and very individual. Like I said, are you ready for this step? You may, if you're not fully ready, you can leave it blank, or you can just go ahead and have fun and add color and make it nice and colorful. That's fine too, okay? I have this need for the process of rounding. Why? Because that's how my body and my brain processes this new kind of information that I kind of gave myself, okay? Voila, I'm almost done with the rounding. I love the rounding process. I know some people find it to be tedious and not so interesting. For me, it's like, I'm like looking for all the edges and see, ooh, what else is left? I don't know why. Because my analytical mind is doing that, but yeah. Yay, congratulations, right? Mazel tov, we say. I did it. It was a nice and tedious process, and I did it. Okay, excellent job, okay? I do want to add color, I realize. What color am I adding? Something is in my mind. I'm looking, I'm like, not this one, not this one. I'm thinking maybe blue. What color do I want to add? Not sure yet. I do want a color, but I'm not sure what color it is, okay? That happens. I'm gonna color, yeah, that's what I thought. The silver color. It's like silverish, kind of maybe bluish, grayish. Okay, you can make it different colors, by the way, because I have like different levels. You can make them different colors. Depends what you want to add to your, bring your creativity here. Remember, the point of adding color, the point of creativity, the more, the end picture should be something you should be happy with, should be enjoying. When you look at the picture, you should be remembering, at one point, the process will be forgotten, right? If you didn't write the names of your resources, based on my practice and other people's, most of the time you look at the picture later on, you're like, oh, I don't remember what this process was. So a lot of people write it down, and then they're like, oh yeah, this was the goal or the resource of this and that. And I am going to add, yeah, I want to add some blue for some reason. Okay, I'm going to add some blue here. Okay, you guys decide. Maybe you want to make it one color, maybe different colors. And the inner part is also, yeah, I want some variation of blue for some reason. Another blue, different kind of blue maybe. Okay, just adding some colors. Yeah, I think my camera is too light. And the inner part is going to be, yes, that's what I thought, yellow. I want to add some yellow here, okay? Yeah, that's what it is. Some variation of yellow. With my other yellow, I have a different yellow. Okay, can't find my yellow. That's what happens, right, guys? Sometimes you want that color and you can't find it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here. My inner part of my egg symbol, egg resource, will be yellow. Also symbolic, right? Like a chicken egg. The next one, I actually want to make it, I realize I'm going to add a little orange to it, okay? Okay, a little orangey. Yeah, I realize I want some reference to the sun maybe here. I have 3 layers here and 4 here, so I'm thinking if I want to add another layer. Again, pay attention to your thoughts, pay attention to your intuition. What is it telling you? What is your thought process? What's going on in that beautiful mind of yours? And, start thinking, what is it that you want to do? Yeah, I need some green here, I realize, yeah. Add some blue, and I want to add some green. Okay, I'm going to add another layer and make it green. Now, we're almost done. We have one more step we need to do. We need to do the field lines, which are like major lines. In this case, it should be mostly vertical as opposed to horizontal. I'm going to take a thick marker and draw a line that will be like significantly thicker than my other lines. And that's a step. Like we said, in NeuroGraphica, we all have steps we need to follow. If you want to learn more, you're welcome to join the basics course that I lead. It tells you all the details of how to draw NeuroGraphica. Now, I want to make this green, and then I'm going to do the field lines, okay? No different green I want. Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, interesting. Okay, so I am going to add the field lines, okay? I have this thick marker like this. Look, it's much thicker. I actually have even a thicker marker and I can't find it. Probably have to order it. And they're perfect for field lines because field lines should be lines that are thicker than regular neural lines, okay? Now you can draw 2 to 3, should not be more than 3 neural lines, okay? Yes, I will have the recording available. Yes, the recording will be available within our group And on my YouTube channel, I believe I will put it. I might share it openly on my, I'm thinking I might share it openly on my profile in Facebook as well, okay? Alexis, thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of it. I was so glad to see you live, okay? So glad, because Alexis usually takes courses. She usually does not live sessions because she works, so I'm so happy to catch you. Yes, so you guys, you want to go? I'm gonna literally finish within the next few minutes. I'm just gonna show you how to do the field lines, and then, you know, most of you probably know, but just bring it out, okay? I'm gonna add probably 2 or 3. There is no need to add more, unless your picture is huge, like a poster size. It should be only 2 or 3, you know, like this, okay? Do you see the thicker line coming out? When I look at the picture, I always pay attention. Do I see a line that's like kind of thicker and more concentrated, okay? When you go through this line and add the rounding, you know, round out all of the lines on the way, you will see that this line will be like a major vessel kind of thing, you know, like a major, like, you know, like an ocean that's like, you know, that like gives way to little, to, you know, to the seas and to the, and the seas that give way to the rivers and lakes and, you know, other water, natural water resources, natural water body. Okay, so I'm gonna do the rounding by myself. I want to let you guys go. I want to thank you for being. This is my NeuroTree with all the Tu BShvat, all the 7. It's called Sheva Minim, which means 7 Sheva, 7 kinds, or 7, actually 7 minim is symbols. 7 symbols, okay? And we saw that they were not just physical food, but they're actually symbols for something more than that, right? Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I'm so glad, guys. I'm just gonna say goodbye. Let me know if anybody wants to say anything. Anybody wants to say, how was the session? You can write it. How did you guys enjoy it? You're welcome to just give me a few words, either say it or write it to me, just so I know. How was your session today? Did you enjoy it? Did you feel you took something out of it? You know, here I am again. Hello. Just wanted to put my face. Oh, excellent. Thank you, Netta. Very soothing. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Anybody wants to say something? Alita?
Yeah, thank you so much. Neta is my daughter, so
I
hope.
realize that. I realize
Okay. Oh yeah, sorry, I see the last name. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna finish it and then I'll share with you. Okay.
Yes, everybody, please welcome to share it. You can either share it on my profile, or you're welcome to join our group and share it in the group. We're so happy. Like I said, we're building a community of NeuroGraphica artists, NeuroGraphica drawers. So welcome to join our group and welcome to contribute to the group. Yeah. Anybody else want to say something? Did you enjoy it? You can just a word or two is fine. Yes, Alina. Alina.
I enjoyed it immensely. I learned so much.
Thank you, Cora.
Absolutely. You're just brilliant. You really are.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of your kind words. Very sweet. Very happy to see you, Coral.
Yeah, I'm
you
glad to
enjoyed
be
it.
here. All right. We'll see you later.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.
Okay. Anybody else?
Take care. Bye.
Bye. I'm going to say good night. And I'm wishing everybody a good night and a great new year ahead. You got another new year, guys, another chance. And yes, the video will be available on my YouTube channel. Yes, Shali, so nice to see you. I was very glad to see you in person, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yes. Okay, good night, everybody. Wishing everybody a beautiful night ahead.